The definition of horror is an intense feeling of fear, shock, or disgust. There's a trend of horror games and movies choosing one of these paths they stick to. Shock value through jump scares, disgusting gore that make the audience want to leave the cinema, or they build their stories on grueling and tense atmosphere. The audience expects something to happen, but it doesn't. In my completely subjective opinion, a good horror title is one able to combine multiple aspects. Jump scares become stale. After a while, you get desensitized to gore. The atmosphere doesn't feel as tense if you already know nothing's going to happen. I'm not going to talk about classics here. Instead, I'll choose to name a few of the newest releases which in my opinion did horror right. Longlegs, Nosferatu, Conscript, and a game by the name of Mouthwashing. I went into this game completely blind. I didn't watch any videos, no guides, didn't read a single piece of media on what this game even is. All I knew was, it's a psychological horror game and everyone suddenly loves it. I don't want to say I only play games that are trendy, but it's proven that if the public loves the game, it means it's good. That's how I encountered Fear and Hunger as well. I'll tell you what I thought seeing it for the first time. The game was named Mouthwashing and every YouTube video had the guy covered in bandages in the thumbnail. And what I thought was that the bandaged guy with no skin was going to get a mouthwash shower. And the thought of that was pretty brutal, as I can't even imagine the levels of pain that will accomplish. Thankfully, the game doesn't have any of that, it has something even worse. And the fact I went into it blind made the experience 10 times better. So before you watch this video, what I advise you to do is go on Steam, purchase the game and play it for yourself first. It's a game which tells you the story retrospectively, it leaves you on edge after every chapter as you slowly uncover the truth of what really happened. The entire plot heavily reminded me of one classic Slovak literature book named Koliska, translation Cradle. I'm not going to explain the whole story, it's a book set in World War II where the ending is told to us at the very beginning. Afterwards, we're taken to the middle of the story where it unravels, we're shown the characters and what exactly happened that led up to the ending of the book. You start to feel bad for the characters until the book takes us to the start, events that have happened before the main story, and we realize it's not what it seems. Once you reach the last page where the ending is told to us again, we find out it was justified. I promise you, playing Mouthwashing will be a surreal experience, to say the least. I don't intend to ruin it for you, as watching a video might not have the same effect. Finishing this game gave me a sleepless night. I couldn't fall asleep as I was piecing the entire story together. It left me mind blown and with a feeling of wanting more. Another reminder, Mouthwashing and this video will contain themes and depictions of suicide, heavy alcohol usage, flashing lights, sexual assault, violence and more. You have been warned. Mouthwashing is an indie horror title developed by Wrong Organ Studio, which is based in Sweden. Another great Scandinavian horror title. Anyway, what's amazing is the publisher, Critical Reflex. These guys are on such a streak of horror games lately. If you do not know who Critical Reflex are, you recognize them in a second. Buckshot Roulette, Threshold, Arctic X, and finally, Mouthwashing. Mouthwashing is a first-person horror game following the dying crew of a shipwrecked space freighter. The perfect description of Mouthwashing would be by a fellow YouTuber named Sweets is Online.
Mouthwashing is a game. I mean, honestly, it's really more of a playable movie than it is a game.
Mouthwashing is more of a playable movie than a game. It's very straightforward, it's a simple do this, do that, grab this, grab that title with retro style graphics. Real art is in its story and soundtrack. Even though I personally really love the old PS1 style graphics, it's why to this day I use the original Silent Hill 2 as my wallpaper. The story follows 5 crew members stranded in space after their freighter ship Tulpar mysteriously hit a meteorite. The captain of this ship, in other words, the most famous character out of Mouthwashing, alive but severely maimed, unable to move or speak, is blamed by the crew for purposely crashing the ship for unknown reasons. We will be continuously jumping between events that take place months after the crash or a week before, all the way to the day of the crash, slowly revealing more and more secrets until eventually uncovering the whole truth. And same as my other videos, I want you to feel the same way I felt playing it. No foreshadowing, no jumping ahead. So without further ado, let's get to the actual game. The game starts out in the cockpit of the fighter ship Tulpar. It puts us in the driver's seat as our autopilot warns us of a meteorite standing in our path. It tells us to make a manual correction 1.4 degrees leftwards to avoid impact. We grab the wheel and the only option we're given is leave and steer right. I was confused and didn't want to do anything at first, but as there was nothing else I could do, I steered right. Warnings of collision started blasting, autopilot turned on, about to change the trajectory of our ship alongside our crew, paying 4,000 for not listening to what we were supposed to do. I stood up and opened a utility locker. There was a nylon rope, a generator, an employee card of some woman named Anya, and an emergency key. I took it, sat back down, and unlocked the red button to disengage the autopilot. Crash imminent. I left the cockpit and in the hall were a bunch of different propaganda posters by our employer, Pony Express. I kept walking down the corridor. The music started getting tense, the lights went out and the halls were getting filled with more and more posters. I couldn't open one of the doors standing in my path, so I turned around. I tried locking the door behind me, but I couldn't. Ultimately, I decided to go back down the hallway where our Pony Express mascot was standing, blocking the way. The ship started breaking down more and more to where there was steam and sparks flying everywhere. Another path where the pony mascot was standing, this time looking more disfigured. I was panicking and my heart was racing. I decided to start running. Alarms went off. I found a locked door where I turned around and... Fast forward 2 months after the crash. The remainder of our crew are seated at a table in the lounge. The man we're playing as, Jimmy, is now the captain of the ship. Or at least he declares himself one. They're discussing on getting into our cargo area and taking what supplies are left. Swansea seems like the choleric type, not wanting to take part in it. Both Anya and Daisuke agree on trying to get in there. It's an emergency after all. We have somehow survived. We need to find the code scanner so we can open the door into the cargo hold and hopefully find some supplies. It seems that we moved to this lounge as there are makeshift beds on the ground. In the lounge, we find the Pony Express posters, but this time we can inspect them as well. The mascot is named Paul and the company seems very dystopian. There's no care for its employees, only profit and everything is punished by pay cuts. Like, late deliveries will be docked from personal credits, medical expenses will be docked from personal credits, HR complaints about poor team synergy may result in collective punishment, and do not indulge in over 5 hours of rest. If 5 hours of rest are punishable, then I would not have survived working for Pony Express. That's for sure. Working under rules like that, I would have crashed the ship willingly as well. By the way, it's definitely not 1 AM in the morning and I'm not finishing this video up the day of release. I noticed Daisuke sitting in front of the projector screen. He told me they have 4 months of food left in their supply, and Jimmy says that it's less than the remaining air supply. Daisuke mentions they'll lose a lot of weight to survive this, and that his mom will stuff him once he gets back. I like Daisuke. He always has this chill, comforting vibe to him. In the kitchen section of this lounge, I found a recipe book. The ingredients were pretty bland: water, gelatin, sweetener, and tonic. Each and every one of these ingredients had their own code. Reading about the nutrition pouches, the recipe book says only sack water is safe for consumption. None of the other means are, like shower water and or sink water. Then there's gelatin, which is injected with necessary vitamins and other supplements. Thirdly, there's a sweetener, which has its code hidden. Captain access only. It's only supposed to be used for crew morale boosting activities. Celebration is prohibited in the case of mediocre performance. Also, reading the small text in the bottom left, it says, hazard, standard sugar and sweetener should never be mixed. Lastly, there's tonic, which is bitter and zesty tonic water made to spice up the blend. There's also recipes and instructions like cake and drink. At the cake recipe, a warning saying, do not consume more than 2 slices. Pony Express is not liable for any personal injury or sickness resulting from failure to adhere to company guidelines. Back to the task at hand. I left the lounge. In front of me were signs: cockpit, utility, and cargo, all being on the left. I went to the other lounge door, but this huge white substance intrigued me. It's insulation foam that automatically discharged when the hull breached. It blocks off compromised parts of the ship and saved the freighter. Behind the other lounge door was an entrance to medical and another hallway leading left. I entered medical. In front of me was Anya standing beside the infamous bandaged man. The view alongside the music was oddly poetic. Anya said he doesn't want to stay still and that she doesn't want to give him painkillers as it hurts him and she can't stand the noises. Jimmy gave her a snark remark.
You did make it through nursing school, right? Yeah, Pony Express sure does know how to cut corners, if nothing else.
She mentioned that we never returned to the cockpit after the crash, and Jimmy said it's almost entirely foamed up. He mentions the name Curly. Anya suggests it could be the place where the code scanner is located at. Her saying, I was hoping you could help me with Captain, confirms it's him. The infamous bandaged man is our former captain, Curly. I have to give Curly his painkillers. I approached him. He was breathing heavily. I took the painkillers off the table, and as I was exploring the room, I forgot to give them to him. Instead, I went into the cockpit first. I found the cargo door. There was a code needed, and for that code, we must find the scanner. Going all the way around, we looped the ship and ended up back at the lounge. In front of the utility door stood Swansea. I asked him why he was standing out here and he told me to mind my business. I used my new captain privileges and forced an answer out of him. He is clearing out the foam in the utility room. It's supposedly filled up and any wrong move could have the ship breached, so he doesn't let anyone in. I finally reached the cockpit and picked up the code scanner. I got curious and did try opening the utility door, but I guess Swansea locked it, just in case. In front of the cargo bay stood Swansea. He told me to get everyone else down here, so I went back to call Anya. She reminded me of having to give Curly his meds, so I did. I approached him, opened his mouth and gave him painkillers.
You know what they say? Pain is how we know we're still living.
She ran off and asked Jimmy one simple question. Why do you think he did it? Jimmy couldn't answer, believing she only wanted to hear something that would make her feel better. Anya said, I have to believe that our worst moments don't make us monsters. Jimmy kept trying to convince her that the captain tried taking us all down with him, and there's only 2 reasons to keep him alive. He does not state what the reasons are. They all agree to it, and that's what's important. Anya still felt sick, so Jimmy left her alone. I returned downstairs. Everyone was already waiting for me to open the cargo door. Swansea said that he wants his name out of the involvement list. Daisuke is hoping for spare parts, so he and Swansea could fix the ship. Anya is hoping for medicine, food, or water. I equipped the code scanner and used it on the sign. 4517 was the code. After entering the code, the door opened and the game glitched out. These transitions the game uses where the sound and the screen lags always made me think it's about to crash. It's such a cool effect, but it kept scaring me. Fuck you. 7 days before the crash, Anya is giving Curly, the ship's captain, a psych evaluation. He passed as he gave the same answers as last time. Anya tells him to open up more, as these evaluations aren't just about him. Anya tells him there's one more eval to do, and that it was Jimmy. Anya is fed up with him, as he doesn't take it seriously at all and makes fun of it, stating, "I have found myself sexually excited at the sight of cartoon horses." Curly decides on doing the eval on Jimmy himself, as he's known him for a long time and won't bullshit him. Anya hands Curly a note from Swansea before they leave. "They can't expect me to perform miracles." I guess we're in the shoes of Curly now. Talk to Jimmy and Swansea. It was so cool seeing the ship still intact. The medbay looked good, the holes were nice and clean. It makes you wonder, what made Curly crash out? I found the sleeping quarters, which were no longer accessible after the crash. What I wasn't able to do on my playthrough was get inside there. I went downstairs and ran into Jimmy. We talked about the utility room being broken again and that Daisuke was added last minute to our ship, which Curly didn't account for. Emergency cryopods with 20 years of life to them. Emergency eggs hidden in a locker with a code 2609. I took it. The utility room looked very nice. There were a bunch of books, blueprints, engineer stuff, and the music, it felt very cozy. Thankfully, I thought ahead and took the eggs before I even knew I would need it. I didn't deliberately aim the axe at him. It was for research purposes. Swansea berates Daisuke for even trying to go into the vent, as it's fully collapsed and there's a strict no entry rule enforced by him.
Yeah, but like, you can't fit in there to fix it, right? So I can totally handle it.
Captain, give me the axe.
I gave him the axe to clean it up and left. Daisuke, I am scared for your well-being. I talked to Jimmy. It was time to do a psych evaluation in the cockpit. The music slowly started turning more sinister, and once I walked through the last door, it stopped entirely. Behind the last door was an almost infinite staircase leading down into darkness. I started walking until eventually reaching the cockpit. Or not. Only pipes leading me down into the abyss. I jumped. We were now in Iron Lung. It was quiet, the sea of red liquid around me, the stars and galaxies shining above me. The sounds I heard reminded me of whales. Sirens started blaring. Emergency screens appeared around me as ladders emerged from the sea. I started running right until I was flashbanged by what looked like the sun. White void all around me, I walked towards the only object in here. A door. The cockpit. I've finally reached it. With Jimmy already there, waiting for me to start a therapy session.
Can't you just make something up for this? It's not like these evals ever go anywhere when we get back.
Willpower through it. Have you been able to complete your mandated task as a co-pilot efficiently and to your fullest capacity?
Let's see.
I'll just put good for that one. That's all of them done and done. How are things otherwise, off the record?
Yeah, I like it. We're in control here.
Didn't think you ever take to being a fight pilot as well as you have. What with how you struggle back on Earth.
Sure, all I ever hear is how great of a captain you are. Honestly, it's kind of annoying. So what is it? How come it always seems like you're standing on the edge of a bridge with your feet in cement?
Lately, I've just been thinking, is this enough? Should I just stay here because I've been successful at it? A good long-haul fighter captain.
And that's bad?
That's what I'm saying. It's not. But it's terrifying. I think, am I figured out? Is this all I ever be? Or do I take the risk and try something new? Even if I'm bad at it.
I guess I get it. You reached the highest rank on this ladder. So now you're thinking you might be on the wrong ladder altogether. Still a long way down from the top no matter how you look at it. While I'm still climbing and climbing.
Something like that. But hey, you know I believe in you. Here, on Earth. Doesn't matter.
You should write that on the psych eval.
A message from our company had arrived. Jimmy left and I stood up to read it. The game glitched out and we were now in the cargo bay. Dragon Breath mouthwash was stocked everywhere throughout the shelves. At the end of the hall was a TV projecting nothing but static. I approached it and went through the other channels.
A business operating at a steady profit can give its workers security and employee benefits. Operating at a profit.
The first channel was company propaganda. If there's profit, there's better employee conditions. The second channel is some sort of depiction of a black hole consuming a star or some planet. Next was an explanation of what an atom is. Fourth is this. I am unable to explain what's going on here. I tried doing some research as I would not be able to explain these cartoons well in English. The animation with the seller selling ism snake oil is an anti-communist propaganda. How the seller changes the effects of the oil to each class of society. The lower class being the farmer being told that his crops will grow higher. The lower middle class will get shorter working hours and more pay. The upper middle class being promised more profits and the upper class being given a position in government and politics if they buy it. then there's static, and then a dancing skeleton. For some reason, this is the one that spooked me out the most. There's no music, no sound, just the skeleton falling apart, standing up and dancing. It might be a reference to death, not sure. And then finally, Dragon Breath mouthwash commercial. The only thing we discovered in the cargo bay was an endless supply of mouthwash. No food, water, medicine or spare parts. At least someone had a reason to celebrate. Swansea decided to end his 15-year sober streak after finding out the mouthwash is 14% ethanol. No clue how he's even able to chug mouthwash this way, as anytime I swallow it by accident I want to throw up. We're back playing as Curly. Break the news. Maybe it's about the paper the company sent out to us. I went up the stairs on my way to the lounge. I once again attempted to open the door into our sleeping quarters, but no luck. I opened the lounge and the crew threw me a surprise birthday party! Too bad I'm the only one with the cake privileges, so I must make it myself. And by the way, there's only one birthday party allowed per trip. That means the crew gets to celebrate only one of their crewmates' birthdays in a single year, as the trips usually take about 350 days. Pony Express. What a company. I was surprised by Jimmy saying that. Even though this whole thing is corny, he himself looks forward to it. Probably the other crewmates as well. You're not going to make it out to pasture. Even Swansea admits he likes it, mostly because of the cake, but still. So I got right to it. I ordered all the ingredients, gelatin, sweetener, and got down to mixing. After finishing the cake, a little birthday song started playing out of the machine. Cute. I placed the cake on the table and was asked to do a speech. That's all it said on the report from management. We will receive the paycheck for this delivery. I don't know any more than that. The mood changed immediately after telling them the news. Pony Express, the company, has reached its end. This is our last delivery. The crew will be paid and then it's done. Everyone started to panic. Swansea, Anya. As Swansea said, it was only given this would happen. Pony Express was the last manned crew freighter company. Everyone else went automatic. Curly wasn't supposed to break the news just yet, but he couldn't hide a secret like this. And Jimmy didn't give him a second of rest.
So I guess you got what you wanted, without the guilt.
Jim, if I had known...
I can get back to my, how'd you put it, struggle of a life. Anya never got to medical school because she's, well, let's be real. And how many employment years got Swansea left in him? Daisuke will be fine, mommy and daddy will have him covered. So there's that at least. But you, headed for the bigger and better, right?
I'm just working all my life, being a place I don't have to fucking escape! That's what I was trying to tell you. Nothing more.
We're the ones who are trying to escape. Leave the dirt behind until your boots are clean.
That's not what I meant.
It is what you meant. You just couldn't frame it to yourself in a way that kept you as the hero. Abandon the crew, but remain the model captain. Let's have some fucking cake, huh? Props to the Twilight Cruise of the Tulpar. Props to our captain and his new prospects.
I was woken up by Curly screaming in pain. I guess Anya didn't give him his painkillers yet. Check on Curly. Daisuke seems to be sleeping just fine. We didn't have much medicine left. Curly's bed was now almost entirely covered in blood and liquid. I needed to find Anya to know if I should feed him painkillers or not. I went downstairs to look for her. I checked the cargo bay. There are many boxes left on the ground. Handful of them have been completely emptied. To this day I wonder, did they drink them for their nutrients? Did they use them as food, or was it only Swansea using it as alcohol? Curly's screams echoed throughout the ship. The only option where they could be was the cockpit. Anya and Swansea together, with Swansea holding the axe. Anya and Swansea were discussing something in the middle of the night down in the cockpit. They were surprised to see Jimmy here. Anya asked Jimmy if he was unable to sleep either. Anya was crying, so Jimmy told her to keep it together, where Swansea assured him that he's keeping it together and that he shouldn't worry. Jimmy asked Anya if she gave Curly his meds. She said she didn't, and Jimmy decided on doing it himself. Swansea was holding the axe. He seems to be always carrying it with him. I questioned it and he just shrugged it off, saying it's a force of habit. Anya was curious whether they'd even notice we're missing and that it would take very long for a rescue ship to get here. I doubt they would even come. The expenses for a rescue mission in a company that cares about every little detail to save a few pennies. I don't think that will ever happen.
Come on, stop with the noise. Damn it. I know what everyone is thinking. The way they look at me. What can I even say? And then, what will she do? Damn it. Here we are now. Me in the driver's seat. Thanks for that. Open up. Hope this makes you feel fucking better.
I got transported into another memory. There was a table with a birthday cake and Curly sitting in front of it. The lobby was a complete wreck at this point. I sat down in front of him.
We should have some.
Why? It's mediocre at best, obviously.
Sometimes you can only get to some stuff. That's what makes the really good stuff, well, good, right?
Why bother?
Hey, we all tried to escape. Didn't work for any of us. I've thought many times, is this what peace looks like? And is it good enough? If I'm being real, it certainly isn't the best. So all I can do is try and make my life one. I'm not trying to run from all the time. Sometimes I'll be promoted, buy a house, fall in love. But other times, I'll just have some awful fucking cake with my friend. Right now, it sounds pretty brilliant, yeah? So if you do the honors.
Right. Well, let me go find the knife.
I went straight down into the cockpit. There was a bloodied axe stuck in the main pilot's chair. I took it. The screen stared back at me. As I was running back to Curly, the music started getting louder and louder. And then it stopped. The projector screen turned into a huge eyeball. Curly was now laying on the table. I did not like what the game was implying. I was now able to interact with Curly. As I was about to hit him, the game glitched out. More and more boxes were emptied and even more mouthwash was being used. And what a surprise, it's not just Swansea at this point, it's Daisuke as well. I guess you really did teach him how to drink like a man.
How many have you had? Those will kill you before...
Before anything else, I know. My mom found this internship for me. Such a slacker, she said. I don't know. I just never knew what I wanted to be. Never was good at anything. Total screw up.
We're not done yet, Daisuke.
I just hope she doesn't blame herself. Please, just take it. I don't want to look at this stuff anymore.
I took it off him. I don't want his condition to get even worse than it already was. Poor guy. I guess we're all slowly but surely running out of hope. I found Anya sitting by herself at the table holding the mouthwash in her hand. Not her too. I went on to talk to her. I was curious if she wanted to drink it too, but thankfully she didn't intend on drinking it. It wouldn't help. She mentioned that not all the medicine on this ship was in her office and that there's a storage locker in the hallway that's covered by foam where we would acquire even more painkillers for Curly. All we need to do is take the eggs from Swansea. Our mascot Polly was also cut up now, guessing he got too annoying for the crew. The food and the coffee machines were completely destroyed and the man who contributed to it is the guy on, I'm guessing, this employee card, maybe? Swansea has been vibing all day to this banger, and it's hard to blame him. Look at him go, and with the eggs too. Truly wonderful display of skill.
You done? I need that. This whole thing, this was entrusted to me by our previous tragically inclined leader. Big responsibility. But you know all about that, huh? I'm going to try and get some painkillers. Do something useful, you know. Oh, I heard all about it. You're looking to pull the plug on this party early. I'm trying to save us. Take matters in your own hands, eh? Be my guest.
That's one way to hand over the axe, even though I'm glad he didn't swing that at me instead. I took it again and proceeded to break down the foam to get the meds. Inside were painkillers and something named isopropyl alcohol. Jesus Christ, Anya, you Slenderman looking ass. Well, Anya praised me and asked if I could feed him the meds instead of her. And that made Jimmy explode. He went off at Anya, He's the only one trying to fix things, that he has responsibility. Find the code scanner, figure out the code door, get the eggs, chop out the foam, but not too much, give Curly his fucking medicine! Captain must have all the responsibilities. Jimmy sent Anya to check on Daisuke instead. He's going to give Curly the medication by himself. There was, what I think, a choice to be made, insinuated by the game itself. As I opened his mouth, I read the description of the isopropyl alcohol. Pure alcohol for medical use only. Potentially deadly to ingest. I used the painkillers instead.
I don't think I understood the pressure you were under before. Fuck, you try to tell. Our worst moments don't make us monsters, huh? You were a good Captain Curly. And you'll be one again. I'll get us both through this.
I locked the door and right after Swansea started hitting on it, calling Jimmy to go out. I had no clue what was going on. I broke off a pipe and took it. And then this rope that I found in the utility locker as well. Why was Swansea after me? I was so confused, I didn't know what to do next. Interacting with the door, I couldn't use any of the items on it. In my inventory there was one more item. It had 3 question marks as its name, and it was completely scratched out. The description says, "My hands won't stop shaking." After a whole lot of doing nothing but spinning in circles, I decided to look up a walkthrough on what I was even supposed to be doing. For some reason, I was supposed to interact with the door and use the rope to tie it down. I'm not sure, but I did that before, correct? Why didn't it work? After tying it down, I opened my inventory again and used the pipe. Right after that, Swansea broke the window and reached inside to unlock it. Looking at the still image, we can clearly notice that Swansea looks horrible. His shirt is covered with mouthwash and his face looks like a mess. Alcohol really isn't a good thing for his health. You doing okay?
Yeah, can't sleep.
I know how that is. I just toss and turn. Or stare at the ceiling all night.
I actually kind of like the nighttime window screen, if you can't believe it. So I just come look at it sometimes. If you look really, really close, you can see there's a dead pixel in the upper right corner.
That's so. Nope, don't see it.
In the back of my mind, it's always there.
Now I'll go bonkers looking for it. Cheers. I don't think it ruins the illusion though. It's peaceful. But maybe I'm just used to looking at the bigger picture.
How many days of transport do we have left?
Let's see, off the top of my head. Around 237 days. Just under
8 months. Hey, why do you think Pony Express put a lock on the medical room door but not in the sleeping quarters?
I suppose for the same reason they put a lock on the cockpit. Safety.
Jimmy, help! Jimmy, it's a total emergency.
Calm down. What is it?
Anya is stuck in medical. The door won't open. What if she runs out of something?
Right. Let's go and have a look.
Anya is stuck in the med bay with Curly. Daisuke claims that he can't open the door, so I went on to check it out. I tried speaking to her through the door. Both Jimmy and Daisuke asked her if she tried opening it with force or using any wrenches. Anya wasn't answering. Jimmy asked if the door was really stuck, and Anya answered, no.
You were right. You were right all along. Should have done this from the beginning. I always believed that our worst moments didn't define us, didn't make us beyond repair. You think I wanted this either? Make no mistake. This isn't my worst moment. Far from it. It's the best decision I'll ever make.
Open the door.
I'll take care of it.
Jimmy wanted to find a different way into medbay, and Daisuke knew one, but as continuously stated by Swansei, it was off limits. The broken vent that no one was ever allowed to enter. Jimmy told him he would have to use it. He went towards the utility. Was Anya planning to get rid of Curly? We had to reach her quickly. Off topic, this is kinda funny. I never really noticed it until now, but the mouthwashing characters teleport to you like some weeping angels. SCP-173 Daisuke. We have reached the utility room. It was being guarded by Swansei again. Daisuke tried telling him, but Swansei wasn't going to let up. We were not getting in as long as he was conscious. What happened? What's going on? Why is Daisuke bleeding out?
Stop. I can fix this. Why do you keep fucking saying that? Are you hearing yourself? We still have the disinfectant, right? The one from the extra medical station? Get it! Now! The cocktail, The cocktail? What are you blabbering about? That was your fault. I never would have... I had no choice. You... useless... You goddamn fucking idiot. There has to be something else.
Daisuke was bleeding out and we had nothing to stop it with. No bandages, meds, and most importantly, where's Anya? I ran around the ship trying to look for something to help him with. After leaving the lounge, I went to the medical room. There was a huge glitched out part covering Curly's bed. The broken vent was now uncovered with a huge blood trail leading out of it. At least he made it out to the other side. We can still help him. The blood trail led to Daisuke. He must have gotten caught up in that vent and barely made it out. I went downstairs. There was a gravestone standing in front of the cargo bay with a pink flower next to it. I couldn't read the name, or the words written on it. As I opened my inventory to equip the code scanner, the grave disappeared. The cargo bay was now open with another blood trail leading me down the stairs. It was only visible using the UV light. It was quiet, dark, and all the crates of mouthwash were now gone. There was one bloodstain in particular that kinda looked like a face. It transformed. Now it looks like the Squid Game lobby. This part sent shivers down my spine. It was 1 AM as I was playing it. I took my headphones off my ears, lowered the volume, and that's how I got through this entire section. Be quiet. The crates are back too. I found a note on one of the boxes. A blind beast, aimless and restless. You can't run from it. Are you seriously telling me I'm going to have to go through one of the most cliché horror game tropes in mouthwashing. Why am I making a fuss about this? It's because these parts of the game always scare the shit out of me. What the fuck is this? So this gigantic horse follows noise. Got it. Man, but the way these boxes jump as to inform me he's coming is so stressful. I hate these parts of horror games. Anyway, it took me like 20 minutes at snail's pace to get to Polly holding a mouthwash. I took it and suddenly I was back near Daisuke. After pouring the mouthwash on him, he must have lost his consciousness from the pain. Daisuke didn't want to do it, but there was no other choice. Jimmy convinced Daisuke that they're the only two people that can save Anya from doing something bad. The only ones that can save Curly. Jimmy created a plan. Swansea is nearing his limit with alcohol. If you make him another alcoholic cocktail using mouthwash and isopropyl, we could knock him out with it and take his key for the utility room. I got to it right away. He didn't have any sweetener left, but thankfully the main accomplice had one more packet in his stash. I took it from him, put the mouthwash and isopropyl alcohol into the mixer. That created a cocktail base, to which I added a sweetener. Voila! It is done. The spiked cocktail was ready. I got downstairs and handed Swansea his brand new drink. That knocked him out almost immediately. Eastern Europeans would never. I took the utility room key, Jimmy decided not to listen to Daisuke's warnings and opened the door. In the entire utility room there was barely any foam. Every single one of the cryo machines was filled up, all except one.
I can't believe Swansea managed to clear all the foam from here.
He didn't.
What?
Think about it. Swansea never let you work with him on breaking the utility room foam wall, right?
No, it needed to be handled delicately. He said I have way too much athletic strength in my arms. I would just turn right through the foam. I was like, damn, makes total sense. Bummer. So I've been in charge of the kitchen instead. He said it's next level critical to keep stock and organize every day. Had me double, triple, quadruple, check everything like all the time.
Right, of course. And he never told you he'd gotten in here?
No, but look how busy he must have been.
And there was never any foam here. And Swansea has known the whole damn time. Just taking a load off before the sun finally sets on the party. Huh? That boozed up bastard has been hiding his time until he can save himself.
Would getting in the pottery mean you'll get rescued?
20 years more of a chance to get found. I'd take those odds over our current situation. Not like this though. Not by lying through my teeth while waiting for everyone else to die.
No, man, that just can't be right. I'm sure that's the reason. We'll ask him about it when he wakes up.
No, we won't. Jimmy told Daisuke that he'd be impressed by him if he made it to the other side through the vent, so he went ahead and tried it. The lights went out as Daisuke's screams were heard from the vents. Find the gun. Find the what? I can't enter the sleeping quarters. I have no clue if it's even possible. I went to investigate the cockpit. There was Anya kneeling in front of my seat.
For fuck's sake! Where is it? Us being let go isn't a reason to hurt yourself. Anya, as our nurse, you never got psych evals. I should have thought of that. You could have come to me if you were feeling stressed.
What would you have done?
Anything. Anything. You, the crew, are all my responsibility. I told you so over and over, yeah?
I'm not going to hurt myself. You know the gun is in a safety case I can't open, but I hid the case itself.
Tell me where it is. None of this has to be on our performance log. We'll figure it out together.
I'm pregnant.
You're... what? Who would you...
Captain, I told you.
Listen to me. We can fix this. I've known him for a long time. I'll talk to him.
I know you'd never give me the gun to protect myself. So, the least I can do is make sure he never gets it either.
What? The day starts off with Curly trying to find a gun that's kept in a safety case. We found out Anya had it and hid it. Curly gets mad as he thought Anya was trying to hurt herself because of some mental issues. Anya tells Curly she's pregnant. Supposedly, she already told Curly about this. Curly says he's known that person for a long time and that he'll talk to him. Anya says she knows Curly would never give her the gun to protect herself, so she hid it because she doesn't want that person to have it either. What's going on? Anya was sexually assaulted by one of the crew members, a crew member that Curly has known for a while. Curly, what are you doing? I know the entire ship depends on you. I know you have responsibility over every member. But she's already told him once. How can this be going on behind the scenes and you feel like talking to said person is the only logical option? The bleeding won't stop. Daisuke was running out of time.
Daisuke. Hey, stop, don't move! It's alright, Daisuke. Calm down. This line of work, you could never have become like miserable old Swansea. What a tragedy. Decades of hauling ass or Pony Express. Big mighty bruiser with all these shiny tools. This is where he got me. The good life, huh? I thought you were dumber than a can of paint. Always just chewing my ear off about nothing. Useless ray of goddamn sunshine. Not an A student, career workhorse, or force of ambition. Just a damn good kid, trying his best. You could have taught an old fool like me a lot. Close your eyes, Daisuke. You monster! I could have fixed him, Swansea. I have to do everything myself. Why can't any of you just give me some fucking time to think? How do you still not understand? It's over. End of the fucking line. You won't suffer one more second because of your delusions.
Jimmy called out Swansea, the utility room. Him always keeping the axe to himself, telling Anya whatever to get her to hurt herself and now killing Daisuke. Jimmy thinks Swansea is trying to be the one left alive, so he could get inside the cryopod and rescue himself. He told Jimmy he doesn't care about being rescued, and said if he wants to, he can use the pod himself. I guess Jimmy doesn't trust him. I'd be scared myself. We need to get to the gun ASAP. No way. So this was blurred out of that memory. She didn't intend to hurt Curly. She took the painkillers herself. We've lost Anya, Daisuke, and it's just us three now. I found the gun case. It was locked by some code. I must find the code as soon as possible or I could be next. In front of the only functioning cryopod was Curly's destroyed employee card. Inside the cockpit's utility locker, we could still find the emergency rope. That means the events of Jimmy hiding in here from Swansea are yet to happen. The hidden code inside the locker is 739. This must be the code for the gun. I rushed back upstairs to unlock it. 739. It worked. Inside was a revolver with bullets. As I picked it up, Curly started to laugh. I proceeded to open the door and the game glitched out as I was about to use the gun. We're at the day of the crash. In front of the medical bed, we can find Anya kneeling. Anya has told the man who assaulted her the truth. She told Curly she doesn't want him there anymore. We're finally about to face him. My thoughts were running wild. Who was it?
Jim, I can fix this.
What do you think will happen when we get back,
We can figure all of this out. You and me.
All I ever hear is how great of a leader you are. God, it's so annoying. But now, what do you think will happen now when we get back?
We'll fix this together.
Everything you and I worked for in our lives, accomplishments, changes, none of it will matter.
You've gotten through difficult situations before. This time won't be any different. Work through it, one day at a time.
It's not just me, is it? You're supposed to be the one who had everything under control. You said yourself. The ship, the screw, everything that happened here. This was your responsibility, Captain. This is what you'll be hearing the rest of your life. Or, this can all be remembered as a tragedy. Despite what must have been the best efforts of its acclaimed captain, the Tulpar crew was never found. No one survived to tell the tale. You're standing at the top, feet in cement. I get it now. Right?
Right.
I'll take care of it.
As Jimmy left into the cockpit, alarms started ringing. System failure. System failure. System failure. System failure. System failure. Jimmy was sat in front of the door to the cockpit, holding his head. System failure. System failure.
System failure.
Curly rushed in to try and stop it, but we all knew how it was going to end.
System failure.
Jimmy took Curly out of his bed and brought him to the table where the rest of the dead crew were sat. After Jimmy sat down as well, the crew members suddenly came to life. Jimmy is too far gone. He picked up the knife and started cutting the cake. Jimmy still feels like they can get through this. Still feels like Curly is behind all this. He then proceeds to eat the piece of meat he cut off Curly, still acting like he's saving the crew, all while he was the reason for their demise. After entering the medbay, it was now completely changed. There was a single light pointing towards the bloodied open vent, with Swansea's utility key hanging above it. On the goose was a note saying, "Where the fuck are my keys?" I jumped inside the vent. Crawling through it, there were several shrunk objects. Turning a corner, I encountered Daisuke, who after approaching, disappeared. The light turned red, and above me was something sounding like a heart, but looking like 4 Daisuke heads put together. At the end of this vent was a note saying, "No turning back now." I now had to walk backwards without looking behind, otherwise it would reset me back to the start. There were 2 more purple flowers on the floor alongside Daisuke's Game Boy and his weights. The flower's name is hibiscus, a pink hibiscus to be exact. I tried looking up the symbolism of the hibiscus and pink hibiscus flowers, and I found that hibiscus symbolizes strength, delicate beauty, and specifically the pink hibiscus symbolizes friendship. One Reddit user noted that the pink hibiscus flowers are meant to be Jimmy's guilty conscience, reminding him of Daisuke and how it was his fault. The second thing could be how Daisuke was naive enough to believe everyone was his friend, which led him to being manipulated and ultimately killed. This vent had yellow tape on it with a big red note saying responsibility. And the rule still stands. You can't turn back. You can't turn your back on responsibility. What Jimmy was able to do instead was walk away from it. This vent that we're climbing through now is probably the one that Swansea forbid Daisuke from entering. There's a bunch of sharp metal pieces sticking out, pipes hanging after the foam exploded, and cut up wires. No wonder Daisuke got completely cut up inside, given that the electricity went out after he entered and couldn't see a thing. On the other side of the vent was a live Swansea, tied to a chair with a gun laying in front of him. Jimmy took the gun, aimed it at Swansea and pulled the trigger. We're now at the graveyard, where we can find a picture of Daisuke on one of the graves. Suddenly we could hear footsteps, the game glitched out and I was reset. Something was chasing Jimmy here. And it was Swansea, chasing Jimmy with an axe. This part was so creepy. You're walking between graves. The entire time you hear footsteps of Swansea running after you with an axe. I was sweating during this entire sequence, but I managed to get through it.
I got something to say, so shut the fuck up and listen. I spent 13 years, half cut up to my eyeballs, drunk, to put it mildly. Then suddenly I saw it, a street light shining in my face, 500 gigawatts of power of God. A vision of my bloated body found in some ditch scared me straight. So I got a collar shirt, mortgage, and a credit card. All them things that make a good man. I hoped I could raise my children, could be better than their old man. I wanted to believe I was never one setback away from my worst self. But the truth is, discipline, drive, routine, the endless fucking desperation to get shit done, a loving wife, great kids, sobriety. I'm telling you, accomplishments I've been chasing all my life never felt as good as I expected when I crossed the finish line. So now that we're at the end, taking inventory, these nights spinning out of my head, sinking into the sofa, broken glass in my palms, bleeding dry, the funniest thing ever. Old dogs laughing and snarling on the waterbed floor, mocking the moon, or daring to show its face. All nausea and wreckage and vomit and ugly cruelty. The only problem in the world, an empty bottle. Those are the best days of my life. Yeah. Those are the best days of my life. I got nothing to hide. Ready to face the music. I can see myself for what I am. With you, a cowardly, selfish motherfucker, and you can't even see it. I should have been able to protect the kid. If I could have done one thing right, I wish it'd been to give him one small chance off this goddamn rock. Swansea? I'm gonna fix everything. We're gonna make it. Ah, fuck you.
So, the part where we played as Jimmy, where we broke off the pipe and took the rope, it all leads up to this. We knocked out Swansea, then tied him up and executed him like some dog. And still, Jimmy believes he's going to fix everything. That they're going to make it. After I left the utility room, the corridor was never ending. There were dozens of pipes looping around. Those pipes turned to eyeballs. Dozens upon dozens of eyeballs were staring at him. I got transported inside of a human body, more exactly inside of Curly's mouth. There was Curly, tied to a chair with a TV in front of him. The cartoon playing.
Tis old Mother Goose's birthday, we're giving her a party. A party, a party, a party for Mother Goose.
The baker man, he served the cake, it was a sight to see.
After a bit it stopped and forced me to click on the cake. Take Curly's leg. The TV flashed and switched to a channel of people eating meat. Jimmy had numerous valves stuck in his body. I opened his mouth and fed him his leg, which he immediately threw back out. The monitors around him were not just still images, they were X-rays. I must turn the valves in order which the leg reaches his stomach. Turning around, a text saying help me. Inside the TV was Jimmy. Walking through the void until eventually reaching Curly.
I want to go home.
We are home.
Why don't you finish up what you started? Don't worry, if anyone ever finds us, I'll still be playing the villain. You'll be the better man in the end, like you wanted. I could have stopped it. I'm taking responsibility.
No, we can both be heroes. We're a team. Just you and me. Like we used to be. What happened was an accident. We were trapped. I made a mistake. Alright? I'm sorry. I'm so fucking sorry, Curly.
We're back in the vents. Off the tray, I picked up an ultrasound scanner. This part took me a while as I did not know what I was even looking at. You must use the ultrasound scanner and go around this thing looking for ponies. After the second one, the thing starts opening its eyes and through the ultrasound scanner we can see a baby. This isn't just a random thing, it's a reference to pregnancy, to childbirth, to take responsibility for his action, for his child. The vent creature, the child, was chasing Jimmy, and he could run no longer. Behind this door were thousands of employee ID cards, glued on walls, piled up on the ground. Going up the steps, mouthwash raining down upon me. At the top was Polly.
Pony Express is dead. And so are you. Shut up. Curly tried his best. I did too. But he's the better man. I see that now. We can both still make it. I'll take care of him. I'm taking responsibility. Curly. Captain. I'm so sorry. Yes. Yes. I do. I fucked up. And I can still make this right. Our worst moments don't make us.
It was time of judgment. I picked Curly off the table. Took him into the utility room and placed him in the last remaining cryopod.
It's okay, Curly. It's okay. You're going to be okay. You always had my back. I ended up hurting you, even though I was trying to save us. But now you'll live. It's like you said, together we can fix anything. I'm just proud I got to be your friend and a co-pilot, Captain. And no one can hurt you now. We fixed it. I fixed it.
What a game. What a story. And there's still so much I want to talk about even after completing it. Going through several different video essays and playthroughs, I read the comments both on Steam discussions, Reddit and YouTube videos. A regular playthrough usually takes about 2 hours. My first playthrough was 6. I took my time, explored every nook and cranny, and still, even after all of that, collecting notes, replaying the game and editing this video, I was surprised by how much foreshadowing, how much symbolism and more I have never noticed. And that's what I wanted to get to right now. Jimmy is a horrible person. And why it's a game that leaves you scarred is now obvious. Jacksepticeye said in his playthrough that he thought the game was going to be about a monster stuck on a spaceship with other crew members, and as one guy said, it was a game about a monster stuck on a spaceship with other crew members, but the monster was human. The entire playthrough you're shrouded in mystery, looking and trying to solve and find answers to this whole situation. You blame Curly, you blame everyone else but yourself. The first playthrough feels the exact same way Jimmy felt during the whole situation. You're trying to find someone or something to blame, looking at everyone else. Never once you look at you, the player, thinking maybe it was me. And slowly the puzzle pieces get put together. The grand reveal being that Jimmy was the man behind the crash, the man that put the blame on Curly, the man who assaulted Anya. He couldn't take responsibility for his actions, continuously on a run from them, and that was the theme of the game for me. Instead of returning to Earth and possibly going to prison, a more logical way of dealing with this was killing the entire crew and himself. There's also this whole dystopian gimmick going on with the Pony Express company. One guy explained it the best. In an explanation of what the Mouthwash symbolizes, it represents the way that Jimmy keeps trying to fix everything but is actually making things worse. The same way how the Mouthwash itself is meant to cleanse or fix your breath, but since it has so much sugar, as mentioned by Anya, it is basically ineffective as a disinfectant and will only cause cavities. And this whole crater narrative, how absurd it is that they waste a year of their life and die all in an effort to deliver an item that is essentially worthless at being a mouthwash. Yet the company still cared more about it than them, even causing pay cuts if they had to use cargo during emergencies. I loved it all. Overall, the crew could have been saved if only Curly wasn't as clueless as he was. The conversation he had with Anya about the dead pixel and how she notices it, but he couldn't. The safety locks. After Jimmy picks up the gun in the medical room, he even let out a laugh. At that time, he truly found out that Anya was completely right. That she had a valid reason hiding that gun. And there's so many different little details that I could spend another hour talking about. I'll give you all of the screenshots I managed to gather up so you can read about it yourself. I'm going to head out. This game already gave me a restless, sleepless night once. I don't need more. If you've enjoyed this video, like and subscribe to my channel. I create a lot of similar stuff on different topics and games, and I also stream on Twitch if you wanna come say hi. Thank you to my friends for voicing the characters in this vid, especially Marv, whose parents were so close to admitting him to a mental asylum after witnessing him talk to himself for 3 hours straight, on a daily basis. And especially thank you for getting me to almost 300 subscribers. Can't wait to see what the future holds in store for us. So please take responsibility, subscribe, and bye.
$15. Oh, and a quarter. Don't forget the quarter. Shut up, Arthur. I'm here for money. Money.